So we are here to sensitize the taxpayers and the practitioners. We are looking at the lawyers and the tax agents to inform them about our processes and what they need to require to utilize our services. So basically we have come to sell our services. I think the problem that is there is that the taxpayer is taking time to be able to understand the processes. And that's one of the reasons driving us here, is that we realize that most of the taxpayers, one, they do not know how to deal with the disputes when they are served with an assessment by the commissioner, because the first port of call, like the Act says, we are a tribunal. So the first port of call for you is first to go to the same commissioner who issued you an assessment, raise an objection. So when he makes a decision is now when you come to the tribunal. So many times is that most of these taxpayers, one is that they don't have proper representation in terms of tax agents, and even the lawyers who are representing many of these parties, they are not very active tax practitioners. So there is a bit of absence of knowledge of processes and knowledge of adequate representation. So that's why we feel that we need to do more of these engagements. But I can assure you that from 2015, in terms of the confidence that has come in for the tribunal, we now have enhanced dispute for multinationals, because we only don't deal with just disputes for the local taxpayer, but even the multinationals that have tax disputes are now using the tribunal. And we have now seen in the last 2 years, there are more multinationals filing those disputes as a confidence in the tribunal. The tribunal exists to ensure that you don't pay 1 shilling more than you're supposed to pay, and you also don't pay 1 shilling less than you're supposed to pay. That's the whole essence. To ensure that you don't pay more tax than you ought to pay, and you should not pay less than you ought to pay. That's our function. We just ensure fairness in that tax pay.
As a common mwananchi, when anyone hears about KRA, they always freak out. But when you bring the people back to the table and they are able to reach to the chairmanship, to the whole tribunal, and talk to everyone on one-on-one, it brings out the issue of, solving an issue based on all parties are involved in the decision making, and it shows the members of the public that KRA is not an animal as such and as it's painted outside here, but rather we can all, approach the tribunal and we can present our issues. If we feel that the commissioner maybe has made a decision and one is not happy about, they can approach or launch their appeals before the tribunal and be heard, and the decision is reached. So the tribunal brings another avenue for the members, both of the public, both in the business world and in the service providers, to challenge the decision of the commissioner, and also gives them more sensitization of what is required of them in the whole tax issue.
One of the challenges that we have been going through is about documentation, because you find out that at times you might be asked for documents by the KRA, and when you take them to them, then eventually maybe another officer comes in and he or she asks you for the same documents, and maybe in between, when you are giving the first officer, you wrote some documents, and now the tribunal have explained to us how we are supposed to keep the documents, and when we give them to the KRA, to the officer in the KRA, how we are supposed to make sure that there is a proof that we give the documents to KRA, so that in case there is any dispute, it will be solved amicably and in a better manner. They have also told us we can scan the documents, send them through the email, so that in future we can also use it as a reference, and it will actually be an advantage to us. So I'm very happy today, because I have come to know many things I didn't know, and I'll follow up with them. I didn't know about IRO and the ADR, and those are the issues that I have run today.
Of technical or legal nature, so that they are not carrying forward matters to do with documentation. So,
are to report to the tribunal within the 120 days on what they have to file its statement of facts and documents supporting each, meaning they can agree to settle the matter out of court. Because of extraneous reasons beyond your control, reasonable causes, that if there are witnesses, then the tribunal then will ask, receive as a taxpayer that appealable decision, and you disagree with it, you're supposed to file the following documents, meaning your appeal. Taxpayer and KRA to go into ADR discussions for a period of time before the tribunal and lodge your notice of appeal, documents that you as a taxpayer filed with KRA and that KRA considered. KRA will have an opportunity to after that, the respondent is required to respond your statement of facts. You're also supposed to file you're supposed to clearly state the facts. Then, alongside that, to file that appeal out of time. So once
so that there is meaningful engagement at that point. If we do that, we will ensure that